Good evening, everyone. My name is Ian Blackburn, and this is another edition of our Wednesday night, 7 o'clock, Zoom into Wine. I'm excited to have you here on the eve of National League Baseball. I've gone hatless tonight. Gotta get the hat reset. No voodoo into the season. We have a really special program tonight. Usually about once a month, we do an event called Stars or Heroes. And tonight we've got a lot of support behind us with our event dedicated to the wines of Baja. And so I'm going to be going live into this program here in just a moment. And it's known as Baja and Beyond because the Mexican wine industry has grown up a lot. And there's now wines from all over Mexico. So it's really a pretty dynamic place. And every time I taste the wines, they're getting better and they are getting more savvy because, you start off in a new appellation and you're working with certain elements, but you were taught to make wine in Bordeaux, or you were taught to make wine in California, or you were taught to make wine in some other parts of South America. And you start to embrace what you can do with the area here. And I just love where it's going. I think it's a very unique set of wines. I think you're going to really enjoy the wines tonight. And there's still a lot of value in them. And we have some great winemakers supporting tonight. So we're going to be really thrilled to share this with you. Remember, this is your time. There's a chat box that you can use to talk with the group. If you want to just speak to the group, you can welcome to do that too. We're not watching Apple TV and phoning this in, but I'm excited to have you here and to have you be a part of what we do here. I see a chat. Why can't I open that?
Oh, I sent you a link in case you need a new hat.
Thank you. Is that a Giants hat? Mm.
hmm hmm
Very cute, Lisa. Thank you. All right. Well, let's take a look at our program, and let me open that up right now. Hope everyone's having a good day. It's been a very busy time in the event world. Store's been a little quiet, but we got a lot of good stuff happening with our LA event activities and some travel that we have coming up. Keeping me more than a little bit busy. Very thankful. So just need to open up our slideshow. There it is. And I hope you got your wines okay, everybody. I got my wines. And here we go. Let's see. How home to the oldest grape wine remnants in the world. Origins dating back 6,500 years ago. I did not know that. Thank you, designers, for doing that. When we look at the map of Mexico, it's obviously an enormous country, and there's wine being developed all over Mexico. Now we think of the wines of Mexico meaning Baja, up near Tijuana, up near Ensenada, Valle de Guadalupe. But yes, there are wines coming from all over Mexico at this point. So you need to just start to open up the mind a little bit, and so do I, because I haven't tasted many of them, but what I'm tasting is pretty exciting. And I think it's not going to be long that there's, wines coming from every corner. Our first wine tonight, we actually tasted a version of this wine maybe about a year ago with Bruma, but the new vintage is here. So we have the 2022, which is now in a really cool new bottle. And I don't know if you can see it. I have to put it on me, but a little taller, a little thinner, kind of Alsatian styled, but really nicely put together. I think the wine, this particular wine is just an elite jump. Love what I'm tasting in the 2022. I think you will as well. I liked the 21, but it was charming. This one's just damn good. I don't care where you taste in Sauvignon Blanc from. This one really is nice, and I hope you guys enjoy it. But what I want to do is play a video that we got to make with Lulu, who is the winemaker, and she is fascinating. And we did this with her last year. So just enjoy your Sauvignon Blanc. Lourdes, I'm super happy to have you on the Zoom, Lulu. You prefer Lulu than Lourdes?
Yes.
Okay, let's do Lulu. And
so we're gonna try actually Bruma is the name of the winery.
Okay.
We also have two restaurants, Fauna and the Wine Garden, and they're just amazing. Both of them, our chef David Castelluzon is super talented. Not as talented as a winemaker, but he does a great job. It's really amazing. You know, I think that you can make great wines now everywhere in the world. French would say even in Mexico. But what makes it really special is having the whole experience and just having great food. The winery is amazing. The architecture is really, really something. And what we try to do with this Sauvignon Blanc, this is actually from my family's vineyard. It's been in our family for 100 years now. It's a Sauvignon. This particular Sauvignon was planted 24 years ago. And I really wanted to do something very simple, straightforward. I studied winemaking in Bordeaux and lived there for 16 years. So it was really important for me to have kind of just the typicity of the varietal and make it more about the soil, which is a really clayish soil. You could really tell by the freshness of it. And not make it an exuberant Sauvignon. This is more it does have those citric aromas. I did leave a little bit of leaves in there for a couple of months, but I really wanted that kind of flowery aroma, floral aroma to come out. Just have a really nice freshness, acidity. I love eating. So for me, acidity is a huge part of what we do. And in Sauvignon, even more so, you know? So I like to compare it to a kind of classical Loire Valley Sauvignon, just because it has that depth and density, but with a lot of nice acidity, crispness. You know? You can actually, the slide, you can see the winery is underneath that tree. The tree is the most important symbol that we have in the winery. It represents giving everything that we do in life a second opportunity or a second use. The winery is actually built with recycled, refurbished materials. And our barrel cellar is right underneath that lake or that mirror of water. You can see our room, our tasting room in there. And it's just beautiful because it completely integrates with the paysage, you know, the scenery of Valle Guadalupe.
Beautiful. Well, the wine's in my glass, and hopefully everyone's tasting along with us at home. This is the 2020 Bruma Plan B. And I love this.
The name of the vineyard you can see on the back label is Rancho Rincón de Guadalupe, which is actually in the San Vicente Valley, which is a little bit south of Ensenada. And you can really taste the clayiness of the soil through the nice acidity.
May have shot past a couple. I click it once and it doesn't move, so I click it again and it shoots 3 times. So sorry about that. But here is the next slide. Inside, you obviously spent some time on the design and the architecture and the messaging here. It's really cool.
Yeah, the architect is Alejandro da Costa. He's an absolute artist. Again, everything, all of the wood that you see is recycled Oh, well, wood that was actually on the freeways, on the American freeways before it changed to metal. So we bought everything and built the winery with it. And you can actually see branches of the tree. That tasting table is one of the branches of the 350-year-old tree that we have there in Bruma.
Wow. And how many different wines are you making at Bruma?
We actually have three different ranges of wine. We have the Vinos de la Casa, which is kind of a very selfish project for me because it's my way of experimenting with fun varietals, different techniques. And every year I change the varietals. Then we have Plan B. You know, the Plan B, we have a white, a rosé, and a red. And the idea behind Plan B is just having classical, you know, I'm not here in Mexico to do Bordeaux wines, but I love the classiness, elegance, freshness, those type of wines. So Plan B is exactly that. For us wine drinkers, I drink wine every day because it's my job. I don't have an issue with it. No. So I really believe that Plan B is the type of wine that you would have with, you know, whatever you have at home. You don't have to cook for it. And then Ocho Tinto or Ochos, I'm sorry, are the premium wines range. And those are more serious, intense, powerful wines that you have. Those are your Sunday type of wines or anniversaries, or, you know, it's a more kind of dense wine. And again, we have whites, rosés, and reds. So in every range, we have three different types of wines.
Well, the Blanco that we're trying right now is really pretty. It's got a really fun nose. I almost think there's a saltiness in the nose that I really like. It's very bright and fresh and clean, and it just kind of keeps drawing me back in, refreshing my palate. And this is a beautiful rendition. And I might even smell just a little kiss of like fresh cut jalapeno, a little bit of passion fruit as well.
I agree, and I love that because it's, you know, the DNA of Sauvignon. So if it smells like the varietal, I'm happy with it.
Mm. Well, great job. A great way to start off our evening. You know, Sauvignon Blanc is becoming a much more popular starter wine. It's really great for stimulating appetite, refreshing the palate. I mean, notice how your mouth feels right now. It's all clean, and you've had a long day and you're ready to drink some wine. And now it, you know, kind of entices you to begin the meal experience. And there's so many foods that you can pair Sauvignon Blanc with, from shellfish, oysters, salads, soups, charcuterie. It's really a versatile wine. Of her wines, packaging, design, the winery, all very cool. As are you, Lulu. We thank you very much for being here.
Thank you so much, guys.
All right. So as I said earlier, that was our video that we shot with her last year. Maybe it was the end of 22. But she's an awesome figure and a real force. And I gotta say that I loved the wine that we had prior, but tonight, like literally, this wine just arrived. This is the 22 Sauvignon, and it just came in through the importer. He blew through the 21 in very quick fashion, and the 22 is now here. And this has been selling well in our store. We've kept it in stock the entire time, and I think this is maybe the most sophisticated rendition of this wine that we've tasted. It's a little more refined, not quite as rustic um and raw, and it really had some like angles before, and now it's kind of like a little more elegant. Maybe the new packaging is kind of helping with that too. But I just really think that this wine is lovely and in a great spot. And it's a nice price for this is a estate grown single vineyard, and really and I think in the world of wines that we're talking about, this she's a leader. And I'd love to get some feedback about that. And I also and I didn't talk to you about this before, Stacy, but if you're out there, I know you're a big fan of Lulu. I saw your face there. Stacy Hunt is on the Zoom with us tonight, and I'd like to say hi, have you say hi to her.
Hi, Ian.
So great that you could join us tonight. Stacy Hunt and I have visited Baja many years ago together, and we're talking about doing another trip for next year.
Absolutely. Yes.
And she is like my Baja. I reach out to her to learn about what's happening in that part of the world, because I mean, Stacy's quite accomplished in the wine world. She represented Team USA in the international tasting competition. And I just was a judge with Stacy last week at the LA International Wine Competition, which was a blast as always. And it was great to see you. I talked to her about this Zoom, and she goes, "Oh, I want to come."
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
it's a great. Come on.
I think your group here should know that you and I practically have grown up together in the wine industry. You know, so we've been together a very long time and still are. And the work that Ian does is magnificent. And the idea of our putting together a tour for next year is extremely exciting. I should just say quickly that when I began my work with the wine makers and the chefs in Baja California, there were 15 wineries, and today there are well over 200. So the explosion in the last 15, 17 years is breathtaking. And the wines are very different than what you mostly taste anywhere else in the world. And the winemakers are risk tolerant. And so they do crazy blends and they take chances. And what's really fun is to taste this new frontier that's going on, even though it's one of the oldest in the hemisphere, but it's awakening to the rest of the world as a new frontier.
Yeah. How just on point of this wine, I'm not sure that you've tasted the 22 Bruma, but would anybody in the audience like to make a comment about the wine? What you think about it? Susan, I see you there. It's so great to have you on the Zoom tonight. I know you like your Sauvignon.
Good to be here, Ian. I enjoyed it a lot. I've been going to Baja since the time when there were 10, 15 wineries down there and a couple of really good restaurants. And I agree, it's totally exploded. It's like Paso. I mean, things just go crazy, and prices go up and up and up. So it's still fun to visit, but it's not the same as it used to be.
Yeah, well, the restaurants are extremely good, and quite a few operations now. And yeah, it is different, and it's way more expensive than it used to be, Susan.
Yeah. That's for sure.
But also some nice places to stay up in the valley.
Yeah,
You don't have to be down in Ensenada.
right. That's a big difference too. You used to have to drive all the way from Ensenada to go and visit and come back and forth, which isn't too bad. But
Actually, the first time we went, we stayed at the Adobe Guadalupe, which had just opened.
Oh wow, I've stayed there as well with in fact with on our trip, Stacy. Yeah, best huevos rancheros I've ever had. All right. Well, I am ready to move into the second wine. And Stacy, thanks for being here. And if you want to interject anything anytime, please do. We will have some guests tonight joining us a little bit later as well. And I'm super excited about that. So stay tuned. But we're going to move into our second wine now. And I'm going to go back into the slideshow. There's the cost of the Bruma Plan B Sauvignon Blanc 2022. We'll get the new bottle shot up as well, because that's still in the old bottle on the website, but the new bottle is really pretty. And we'll have that. All the information's correct, pricing's right, inventory's here. but just came in just in time for this event. We're moving to wine number 2, and Stacey, again, it's so great that you're here because we got many years ago, Stacey, we got to meet Hugo de Acosta together. Well, I met him for the first time with you, and I'm sure you have run into him many a time. But this guy is absolutely like the man of the region down there. He has been around for a long time, a great resume. Came from some fantastic wine experience and has really been kind of a leader in the area. I think every wine region has a brand name that's super iconic, and that's his. And this is his brand, but he also works with other wineries and helps other people out a lot too. But this is Casa de Piedra, and this is the white. And before I say anything repetitious, I'm going to go straight into the video and we'll talk after. As we continue our journey into Mexican wines, Baja and beyond, I want to introduce you to my friend Gil Gutierrez. He's an importer and works with all of these wineries pretty directly, or most of these wineries directly. Gil, thanks for joining us today.
Ian, thank you very much. Thank you for having us. It's a pleasure being here with you. It's one of our favorite topics.
Yes, you are the expert. We really enjoyed our dinner with you a few months back, and so did everyone that came to the dinner, be able to hear it from you because you travel to this region often. You know what's happening on a day-to-day basis. That timeliness is really important. There's been a lot of continued improvements in the wine scene in Mexico. Probably the big headline is just how expanded the set of wines is now. We used to think that Mexican wines, maybe we would just get a little hung up on the idea of it being Baja centric, but it's really expanding all the way into the heart of Mexico in a bigger and bigger way. So let's talk about Mexican wine, and then let's focus on the great singular producers and the places are starting to become more famous because of the great producers. We're going to start our conversation today with an absolute legend. We're going to start off with a wine from Hugo de Acosta. Hugo was really the person who like perked my ears up and gained my respect because he did things the right way, had an incredible resume, and I got to go visit him at the very impressionable time, my first visit to Baja. He made an incredible impression on everybody that was in the room. The wines that he makes are always arguably the best wines on the table. And he has like an authoritative presence, and his wines speak that same language. And so we're going to taste a wine from Casa de Piedra, Piedra del Sol, Blanco, Ensenada, Gil.
Yes, it's an interesting story because when Hugo de Acosta decided to start this winery, Casa de Piedra, with his wife and his brother and his brother's wife, they started using the elements from the area, and it was they used rocks, so that's why people use it as a point of reference as the house of the rock. And since it was pretty new and nobody knew where Valle de Guadalupe was at, he said, I'm going to put Ensenada on the label of the bottle. That way people have a point of reference. Because if we put Valle de Guadalupe at that time, people didn't know where Valle de Guadalupe was at. So he used Ensenada as a point of reference to where the wine was being made. Even though it's made in Casa de Piedra, that's a little further east from Ensenada. It's in San Antonio de las Minas, which is like the beginning of Valle de Guadalupe.
Yeah, he's all over the place too. I mean, he's like the regional expert, the regional authority. And my first question for him, Gil, was I asked him a question thinking that he would have a different answer, but I really loved his answer. And I said, okay, so what is going to be the grape of Mexico? You know, you got Shiraz in Australia, you've got Malbec in Argentina. And his answer to me was Mexico is a mosaic, and it's going to be a blended wine. The way the mosaic would lay it out. And I thought that was really a profound comment, and it really really kind of caught my attention, my interest. And I've been saying that for over 20 years to lots of different people. So it was great to be able to get his perspective on that. And now, with that being said, we're tasting a wine today that's not a blend, and it's this is his white. We're going to taste two wines from his family, but this is a beautiful white. Tell us about the winery, Gil.
You know, the winery is not that big. It's as you come in, it's all made out of rock, and the tasting room is on the front side of the property. It does have a little bit of elevation on the back where it kind of climbs up a little bit. And all of the initially when they planted that vineyard was 100% Chardonnay, and that's what Piedra del Sol was. Unfortunately, as time went on, Hugo da Costa realized that the Chardonnay was not too healthy. It didn't really like the climate. It was a little bit too warm, and it required a little bit too much water. So they had to make a decision, and that decision was made to rip off the Chardonnay and pick out a white grape that would that likes that warm, dry climate. And that's when the Grenache Blanc was born. So we were very nervous and kind of concerned about the Chardonnay leaving and what was going to replace it. But you know, this Grenache Blanc, when we tried it, it's delicious.
Yeah.
And it's more geared towards that hot, dry climate.
Do you think he ripped out the vineyard, or did he graft it over?
You know, he ripped it out. We showed up one day and we said, what happened to the vines? And there was just dirt. And
Wow.
we're always the last ones to know about all this stuff, but we were shocked. We didn't know what to think.
Impressive.
But you know, the Grenache Blanc is just as good as the Chardonnay.
Cool. Well, I think Grenache Blanc is a wine that a lot of people don't think of Grenache Blanc. You know, you go to a restaurant, you sit down at the table, and you think you want a white wine. You might think Sauvignon Blanc, Chardonnay. Does your brain ever kind of go, you know, tonight let's go Grenache Blanc? I think it needs to get a little bit more attention. And I think it's a really fascinating grape variety. It is planted in some really cool places, Priorat, in the Rhone. There's some beautiful examples in Santa Rita Hills, things like that. So I'm not sure what this video link is for. My designer's saying I should click into that. But there's a video here about Hugo da Costa, so I'm going to put it in the chat for you to be able to watch it later if you like, those of you that are participating with us tonight. But Grenache Blanc, it is the white of Grenache. There is Grenache Noir, and it is from this grape variety that some very interesting wines are being made. I actually have a friend making a sparkling Grenache Blanc too. And so I think there'll be an increased number of references for this very delicious, refreshing, I won't say summertime, but it certainly shines with the season that we're coming into right now. It's kind of like the on point timing of the year to start talking about Grenache Blanc. Some cool pictures of the vineyard and the estate here, Gil. How many total cases do you think he makes now?
You know, he on the Grenache Blanc, not that many. I'm probably thinking about 250. And on his red, the Vino de Piedra, he does have a little higher production. That was like his flagship, the Captain Paralelo. And I think on that he's up to 1,000 cases. Those two wines were the very first ones that kind of change the landscape as far as focusing more on quality and lower quantity. So little by little, Vino de Piedra got very popular. And same thing with the Piedra de Sol, the white wine. They have the name recognition in Mexico. You see them in a lot of high-end hotels and a lot of the restaurants in Mexico City. So they're very popular in the Mexico side of the consumers out there. Well, it's all stainless steel, so there's no oak. It's going to have some nice bright acidity. The idea with a lot of the white wines from Mexico, since it's so close to Ensenada, it's kind of geared to pair well with a lot of seafood. So it does have some bright acidity. It's got some nice expressive notes on the noses.
I could totally see having it with something like some fried calamari. You could certainly go with some great shrimp, maybe a bowl of shrimp with some garlic butter sauce. Is that place Killer Shrimp still out there? I remember having that for a long time ago.
There's a couple of places that are just delicious. There is a food truck in Ensenada. It's a stand, Senora Sabina's, and that's amazing. This would pair very well.
Yeah, fish tacos, ceviche. Yeah, for sure. But we're talking about maybe some foods that you might have in Baja, but I think that translates so well with everything that's California cuisine too. And if you're on the vegetarian spectrum, this wine is so great with any type of zucchini, grilled zucchini, any type of grilled vegetables. I think a wine like this is absolutely Californian in that regard. We need to continue to have that diversity and to reward the best winemakers in the world, and this is one of them.
Agreed.
I am totally loving this wine right now. I hope you guys are as well. It's got just a little added richness and weight. That mouthfeel is sensational. And really beautiful nose. I'm even loving it more today than when we decanted these wines into the little jars just a couple days ago. It's just beautiful. It's polished. It's gorgeous, gorgeous. I gotta look at my little biodynamic calendar, see what kind of day we're having. It seems like it's a flower or fruit day. But what do you guys think? You like it? Is that something you would order? I mean, the wine is kind of a steal. As we continue let me go back in and see. I think I love this wine, and we did, by the way, add also his red wine to our website as well. So $25. It doesn't seem right. It's so delicious. So I mean, that's a lot of wine for $25. And from flagship producer. So, but it is Grenache Blanc, and I think that's kind of where Grenache Blanc is at. Still in that discover me phase, so the pricing has got to be a little sharp. But man, I would love to pull that out at a dinner party. What a great bottle of wine. Casa, let's see, do I have the other one? So if you go up here and put in, yeah, there it is. Let's see, we got the Tinto, so that's $55. And that's Cabernet Tempranillo. Just got that in the house. All right, we're going to continue on, and now we're going to a wine that I literally had like curiosities about, because there are not many producers in the world focusing on a single varietal Marselan. So I had to ask the question, and the distributor showed up with a bottle, and I thought it was delicious. And it's another one of those deals. So let's learn a little bit about this wine. And I just happened to be at the LA County Fair, like I said last week, as a judge. And guess who was sitting right next to me? The winemaker. Now his English is a little he's a little more international. So we also have his importer sitting next to him. So they're going to go right back and forth, and super cool. This guy, his last name is Revantos, which is a great brand of a sparkling wine house in Spain. And then his last name also, he has like a double name. So, and they're both sparkling wine houses. So I'm a little curious about him. Maybe somebody knows the story. As we explore the wines of Baja and beyond in Mexico, I get to meet some great individuals. And today I've got Sofia de Argans. Is that
Yeah,
good?
that chance it's fine.
With Pensencia, they're the importer of many of the wines that we're tasting tonight. And our special guest, Luis Reventos Lopart with Freshenet, Mexico. And he's the winemaker of the wine that we're tasting tonight. Thank you guys for joining me.
No, thank you for invite us.
Thank you so much.
The wine that we're tasting today, I wanted to introduce to our audience, made from a wine called Marselan, and we're gonna a grape called Marselan, and we're gonna learn about this variety tonight. But El Bajio is down near Mexico City in southern Mexico, and this is why we are Baja and beyond, because there are lots of wineries outside of Baja, Mexico. We're gonna now show you where on the map Queretaro is, and the correct address of this winery, which is just down in southern Mexico next to Mexico City.
Yes. Yeah. It's located 200 kilometers north to Mexico City.
Perfect. And this is a collaboration between La Capencia Imports and Freshenet of Mexico. And Luis is the winemaker. And how did you decide to make Marselan in this area? And tell us about the winery and your journey with making this wine.
Yeah. Normally in Queretaro grow Merlot and Cabernet. Merlot is a good grape for Queretaro. Then Cabernet for the weather. Normally the maturation of the grape is difficult because the Cabernet Sauvignon have pirafinas. The pirafina is the flavors.
Pyracina.
Yeah,
Pyracine. Yeah.
Pyracine, the
Like
flavor is-
green.
yeah, it's like
Bell pepper, vegetable.
yeah, perfect. Yes.
Exactly.
Then Marselan is a grape, is a hybrid, is a mix Cabernet Sauvignon between Grenache and
Hybrid
we-
grape, which was created about
Yeah,
70 years ago now. 70 years ago, they created this grape variety in Europe, right?
Yes. We start plant Cabernet, Marselan in Freshenet, Mexico, in Querétaro, 7 years ago, in 2015. Experiment with this grape. Yes, this is a Marselan. Then in 2019, we make or elaboration the first wine, the Marselan, in all the country. The expectativas is excellent, was excellent. The first year elaborate young wine, but the second year in 2019, we put during 12 months inside the barrel for IG in the American oak with a French oak, and the experiment was perfect. In the first vintage we put in the market is 2019. For us, the Marselan is excellent because express a lot use characteristics. For example, in the there are a lot of the color in the tannin is soft and is good for IG 6-7 years inside the bottles.
Beautiful. Sophia, a question. When you're out presenting this wine to different accounts, is there any like perfect pairing that you like encourage people to use for this wine? Is there
Yeah,
some-
you know, it's a very nice wine to pair. It's not difficult wine for that. So first, obviously, we recommend with Mexican food because we want to share that culture, you know, between wine and the gastronomy because we have the best gastronomy in the world. That is Mexican food. But besides Mexican food, we always share with it, like they compare with Italian foods, Chinese foods. Obviously, it's not a wine to pair with spicy, too much spicy, because the tannins, you know, we can't like have too much alcohol in the palate. But almost with almost all the foods, and why not without food also? You know, we have to be responsible. But a glass of wine of Marselan in your house, it can be great. So yeah.
Well, I'm excited to taste this with our group right now. Is there anything
Yes.
you want us to pay attention to in the nose? Anything that we should expect to smell and look for that's typical to Marselan?
Yes, I think yes. Normally the Marselan, the flavors is not the fruity and is not the aromas which is the name
Violets. Okay.
the florales.
It's more floral, like
Yeah.
violet, like
Yes,
red
and-
flowers.
And y también tiene estos aromas particulares que te recuerdan a cueros, a especies,
Like spices, you
spices
know,
and
like
clear, ¿no?
yeah, like leather
Yeah.
in the nose.
Yes. Normally Marselan is very versatile for me is a grape gastronomic grape. It's versatile for a lot of the food. It's a red wine, but it's good for pasta. It's good for any times for pizza. It's good for.
Sounds like a very generous wine, and I'm going to
Yeah,
tell
the
you.
generous wine. Yeah.
It's not focused carne. It's not for.
No, it's
beef.
not only for meat. No,
Yeah,
it's like
it's versatile because it's done strong. No, it's
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited to drink this wine with the group.
perfect.
Thank you all.
bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Very nice, very nice. That was done on my new computer. I'm happy to see that it worked out because the old computer really did not do very well there. So, isn't that cool? I mean, it's juicy and it's got this like real expressive kind of range of we would say complexities because it's got some a little bit of vegetal note, just enough, and big, wonderful, soft fruits and stuff. And I think the mouthfeel is very unique. It doesn't have that hard tannin, and I could see this being interesting. And I will say, I'm kind of sensing that they know that they're onto something here, and this is freshenette, okay? They don't do things small. They're going to go hard on this wine variety. And I don't know if we will be the target customer for it. It may be local there, maybe an export in different marketplaces. But this wine is a total steal if you like it. I was captivated after learning about it, and I said, how much is it? And so I said, yeah, let me try some. Now, of course, people got to know what the heck this grape variety is, but for $20, that's a pretty damn good bottle of red wine. And I think they're gonna have some success with it, making some friends. I could see this totally by the glass in some, if I had a little restaurant, somebody asked me for a Merlot. Have you tried Marselan? Somebody asked me for a Grenache. Have you tried Marselan? I think it's just really kind of got
some interesting character there. So I'm going to pay attention to that grape variety. All right. So we move on. We have a couple more wines to get through, and running just a little bit late. So I want to make sure we get through everything in good time here. But let's talk about Acrata. And one more time, I'm bringing back my friend Gil. Take it away.
All right, we're back with Gil because we're tasting another wine from the Acosta family. This time, it's not just Hugo, right?
No, this is the Aborigen, Acrata Tinta del Valle. This is the next generation. So Hugo da Costa started Casa de Piedra. He's got 2 daughters and a son. As they grow up, they start getting into the wine business. And what better place to learn but from dad, Casa de Piedra. This guy.
Hugo, he started his own brand, but after he worked for some pretty large, important producers down there. Who was his employer before?
He worked for Santo Tomas for 13 years. He was their winemaker.
Right. That was a big producer. I don't know if it's still owned by Pernod Ricard, but I think it was back then. And that's like international and big and volume oriented. And then he left there to start these smaller, more isolated, focused wines, and kind of became like the Michel Rolland or Philippe Melka of Baja. And now this is the next generation. And Gil, when you tasted me on this wine, I dug it so much. I just thought that this was so cool. And you could totally tell that this is got the Hugo da Costa gene, at least.
It's one of those wines that it's easy to drink. It has a lot of expression. On the label, Acrata means no rules. So this was born as a Monday through Thursday wine. After Vino de Piedra was established, Gloria da Costa, Hugo's wife, said, why don't we make something for every day? Let's make something for Monday through Thursday that's easy and that's drinkable. And if we don't finish the bottle, we can put it in the fridge and drink it tomorrow. So the name Tinta del Valle is red of the valley. So they said, what should we use? Well, we have a lot of Grenache. So let's just pick some Grenache and then a little bit of Petit Syrah, and Acrata Tinta del Valle was born. So 92% Grenache, 8% Petit Syrah. It's a young wine as far as reference. The time that it spends in the oak aging is only 6 months, but the current fruit that they're using is fruit that's 50-year-old vines. So that the old vines give it a lot of character, a lot of depth.
Something that happens along the way is that some grapes get pretty famous. Cabernet, for a while, Merlot, certainly Syrah, Grenache. But there are some grapes that maybe cost a little bit less because the demand is maybe not quite as hefty as say Cabernet. And so Grenache and Petit Syrah, you kind of get a lot of wine for the price. Even as a grower producer, you can buy these grape varieties for a little bit of a discount to the king of grapes, Cabernet Sauvignon. So you blend these together, and you do have notice the spelling, Petit Syrah. It is not. It's neither petite nor is it Syrah. It's a grape variety called Petit Syrah or de Rif, and it was created to be a very thick-skinned grape variety with incredible pigment, and it's a grape variety that will change the color of a wine because it's so intense and stains the glass. It's kind of that way. So I'm sure they're not using that much of it here to really take over the wine. You want to accent the wine, not take over the wine. And I think they did a great job here of balancing those pillars. And some more great photographs, setting the mood, putting us in the Baja state of mind. Really cool and rustic and farmy and not that luxurious spa type of environment that you're going to hit in Napa Valley, but a little bit more of a working farm feel.
And that's one of the things about Hugo. He's really focused on just producing grapes. I remember having a conversation with him about Casa de Piedra, that maybe he needs to like sprucing it up a little bit. And he gave me this look and he says, I'm a winemaker. I focus on making wine. But because of all his relationships, because he's been there for such a long time, he has a lot of access to a lot of good fruits. And this Grenache is like known as the Grenache of the Valley.
Well, I don't think these wines get rated by the Wine Spectator, by Jeb Dunnick, by Robert Parker. So as a person who worked for some of those people, I took it upon myself and gave it a very nice score. Wonderful color, balanced in texture, lots of spice, fruits, coffee, and leafy tomato plant. This wine is fresh, fun, affordable, pleasurable. And then the way I score wine, colors 15 points possible. I gave it 13.5. Aroma 23.5 out of 25. The body's 23.5 out of 25. And overall 33.5 out of 35. So 94 points. That's how we get there. And it's a beautiful little fun wine. And I think I just adore it. And I've done very well with it. And I thank you for bringing it to us. We're going to break from the video now, Gil, and taste it with the team. We appreciate your insight and knowledge and support. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Cheers.
Take care, Gil. Thanks, buddy. Have a good day.
You as well.
All right, we're
$27, guys. That's just so damn good. And pretty damn hip too, I must say. This is a great bottle of wine that probably not very many people have heard about, but it's got everything people should like in a really fun bottle of wine. Love to pair this with some food and just a good time. Really casual. So Stacy, we're talking about going to Baja next February. Is that working out for you? Hope you're still there, Stacy.
Yes, I am. Excuse me. Excuse me.
I muted you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. Here I am.
So Baja, we're talking about possibly next February. Is that working out?
February's good. We've got a rain, concern.
Yeah, rain doesn't bother me. I will travel to rain usually. I mean, usually it doesn't rain like it's raining now in LA. So like I say, I go where when it's like the perfect time to visit. But we'll announce this trip, but we'll have some date discussions and find the right window for everybody. And if you can make it, or interested, we're gonna have a interest list sign up on our page soon. I didn't check before the Zoom started. It might already be there but that will be at learnaboutwine.com. So go to learnaboutwine.com and you'll see it on our trips. And it'll be there in the next couple of days at the latest. All right. Stacy, thanks so much. We have another special guest tonight too that is joining us from well, I think Thomas is probably in Baja. Thomas, are you there?
Yes. Hi, Ian.
How are you?
Good, good. How are you?
Good. Let me exit the Zooms or the slideshow so that we can say hi properly. Here we go. Let's add the spotlight. There you are. Hello, sir.
Yes.
Pleasure to meet you. Is your wife also joining us tonight?
Yes.
Oh, there she is. Look at that.
Hi.
It's Carla.
Hello.
My wife,
Hello.
Carla.
Really nice to meet you, Carla.
Nice to meet you too.
Let's talk about your wine because you guys make a wine together. And Thomas, help me out. We didn't rehearse or anything like that, so I want to just apologize in advance if I show something on the slide that's wrong. You just call it out, okay?
Okay, perfect.
Cool. Well, you have a lot of fans, Thomas, so I wanted to say I'm very honored that you made some time for us on the Zoom. In the Baja wine world, you are a rock star, and I'd love for you to tell us a little bit about yourself, actually, before we go too far here. So let me just get back out and give you some proper.
Okay. Yes, well, I'm a Swiss. I'm a Swiss born, Swiss raised, Swiss studied. I studied enology, and I met 30 years ago. I met my wife, Carla. We had a long distance relationship for several years. We got married. We moved to Switzerland. Well, I brought her to Switzerland, and this is when she got involved with all the enology, with the winemaking world. Because before knowing me, as all Mexicans or most Mexicans, well, at least 20 or 30 years ago, Mexicans, they haven't been wine drinkers. So my job might have been a little exotic for her. But I think it's easy to fall in love with wine and everything which is around, has to do around winemaking. And well, at some time, I brought her to work. She sometimes she even had a shovel in her hand, and she was shoveling pumice into the press, and she was harvesting grapes, and yeah, she fell in love with everything which has to do with wine. In 2007, we moved to Mexico. This is when Hugo da Costa was looking for somebody to support him because he was expanding in projects. And this is, yeah, so we moved to Mexico, to Ensenada. Actually, right now we are in Ensenada. We're living in Ensenada. And I was the director of the Escuelita, which is the wine school, which was owned by Hugo da Costa, but basically led by me. So just to resume, the wine school, it's called wine school because a part of the productive function, we had an educative function. So I was a teacher, a wine teacher, and during 12 years, I was teaching wine or giving wine classes to about 400 to 500 persons. And my wife, she was one of those, and our the mother-in-law, godmother, our child's godmother, which is our friend, and she studied with Carla. She was also taking the wine class. So Sentimenti, the project Sentimenti, which means feelings in Italian, was originally a project of two friends. So they started the wine, which, well, this is the wine label, Sentimenti. One blend, and then another blend, and then another blend, and then another blend. So four labels. And
Yeah.
well, Sentimenti, because making wine is something emotional, something sentimental. If we are doing wine, producing wine, it's very emotional. And well, if you're drinking wine, we all know that we got emotional when drinking wine. Exactly. And you it's like sharing emotions, sharing sentiments. Yeah. So this is a Sentimenti amor, which is love. Then we have the second one. This one is passion. This one is ecstasy. And the fourth one is temptation, the one we are going to to taste. No, so the first one is a Tempranillo Zinfandel blend. The second one is a Mourvedre Saint-Sol. This one is a Zinfandel Mourvedre, and this was a Syrah Mourvedre. The first two, they are unfortunately not available in Mexico, in the US. In the US, okay. This one is, and this one is too. And the next we just launched a couple of years ago is sparkling wine, which sooner or later, hopefully sooner, will be available in the US. It's a sparkling wine with a classic method, second fermentation in bottle, made of Barbera. So it's a Blanc de Noir of Barbera grapes. It's a brut nature, extra brut sparkling wine. Very but nice. Well, now let's get focused now on this one.
Okay, I've got a little slideshow.
Yes,
let's see it. I do love the naming and the logo of the label and the it's a cool story, and I'm glad Carla's right there to give it to us too. So here's a look at the label. And where the wines, the fruit is from Valle de Guadalupe?
Exactly. The fruit is from the Mourvedre is from Valle de Guadalupe. Okay. The Syrah is from Ojos Negros, which is a little over there, exactly. Which is a little inland, a little further away from the ocean, so a little less maritime, a little more continental climate. It's a little higher situated, always matures a little later, which is quite interesting for the Syrah grapes. So the longer the wine takes to mature, the better expression, the more complexity the wine get.
Thomas, you mentioned that you were the teacher at the wine school, and I wanted to go back to that really quick. I've heard a couple of people mention it before, and my memory is that Hugo kind of started that because there wasn't really a lot of knowledge in how to make wine in this area, right? And
exactly.
So it was to propagate knowledge, and so you became the instructor.
Yes, it's to propagate knowledge. It's to propagate enthusiasm for wine. And actually, we were a little foolish because, in fact, we created our own competition.
Sure.
About 40, 50 years ago, there were like 5, 6, 7 wineries in Baja, but a region which consists of 5, 6 wineries isn't really a wine region, isn't interesting. By now, we have around 180 wineries in Ensenada. Now you can talk about the wine region. Now we have competition. Now we need to get efforts to improve, to get better. And it's until now that there is really an enoutourism. There are people all around the world visiting us. Hotellery has grown. Hotellery has grown, and gastronomy has grown. You will see, the ones you will take the trip to Ensenada, you won't regret it, because if you are an adrenaline junkie, Ensenada is not the place. But if you like to enjoy good food and good drinking and eating well, and quietness, this is exactly what you will need. And especially also very good seafood.
Well, what you did, though, on the flip side, is that you elevated the quality of everyone else's wine at the same time. So all boats rise in the harbor, right? So you're all making better wine. Everyone's talking about how good the wines are now. And a lot of that goes back to the education you guys provided.
Yes, there are several dozens of wineries which started because of us. They started while taking the wine class with us, and then started producing 1-2 barrels, and now there are wineries. They're even bigger than Casa de Piedra. They're even bigger than Paralelo. But that's fine. That's fine, because you can't be selfish. It was a contribution to the whole wine region, and at the end to whole Mexico, because by now Mexico is becoming, or is already known in the wine world. But 20 years ago, nobody was talking about Mexico as a wine producer.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's still in its infancy, you know?
Yes, it is. Yes.
So we got a picture here. This looks like a beautiful spot. Hopefully that's your spot. We just might have grabbed that. Here's about the wine, Thomas. We're 70% Syrah, as we discussed, and 30% Mourvèdre. I really love this wine. I think and your style is got some really showy features to it. It really brings out the juiciness of the wine, the intensity of the varietals, the intensity of the place. I think you accentuate the concentration, elevate the ripeness and the richness, and I think that's probably through selection, and you're obviously doing some wonderful things to elevate the wine here.
Yes, we tried to get a good maturity, a good concentration, but without exaggerating. So there are no overripe flavors. There are no raisins or sweet plums. It's really rather on the black, on the dark fruit side. There are floral notes like violets, and there are also some roasted toast aromas from the barrel. But we use the barrel very, very gently. So just a low percentage of new oak. In a wine, it's always, according to us, our philosophy, it's always the fruit which has to dominate. It's the grape which has to express themselves. If you're how do you call it? If you're a wood junkie, you can easily chew on a piece of wood. But we want you to taste wine, to drink wine, to swirl it around, and to feel all those fruit and floral flavors. The picture you're seeing now, this is the Escuelita. This is our place. This is my hand. Yes, because this is my. Yes.
Very good. Very good.
Yes, this is the place. We harvest all grapes in small cases, 40-pound cases. It's transported gently. The advantage, if you transport it like that way and not in big bins, containers, is that they don't get crushed on its way. So they get intact to the winery, and it's until then when the destemming and crushing process starts. This is the godmother, which is doing some punch down. There was open concrete, classic concrete tanks, and there's Carla emptying the tank when pressing.
That's
Talking about foot treaded type of are you doing some foot treading? Those are like laguerre, right?
Which one?
Are these like almost like laguerre, like Portuguese open top?
Yes, exactly. It's very, very, very classic fermentation tanks.
28.95 Sentimenti. Temptation.
And temptation because of the snake, expressing like the temptation, the forbidden apple, and if you see the label, there's like a structure on the label. You feel a temptation even to touch the label to see if it's really like a how do you call this, a relief?
Raised or relief. Okay, yeah.
Like a third dimension, and yes, actually it is. So it's a temptation to touch it, temptation to taste it, and yes, this is the reason behind this wine.
I love all the ideas, and I love the only thing that's red is that little tongue sticking out. You just see that.
Yes,
cool.
And obviously we do have rattlesnakes here in the vineyards, so it's not just something invented. There are snakes.
For sure. Well, I discovered Temptation because I was buying some Ensamble, and this is one of my favorite wines of Baja. I can't wait for you guys to try it with me. It's wine number 6, and I carry another one or two more wines that you make, Thomas, in the store. It says Tommy. I never like to call people
However, whatever. Yes, Thomas, Tommy.
Thomas. So you have a number of wines in our store, so thank you for doing this. I'm also a Zinfandel fan, and I love how you incorporate Zinfandel into a lot of your wines.
Well, you have to know I before studying menology, I did an internship in Dry Creek Valley at Dry Creek Vineyard. So you can't avoid falling in love with Zinfandel if you work in California, and I did. I highly love Zinfandel, and I think it's a very underrated, undervaluated variety. Obviously, it doesn't have the best reputation because of the white Zinfandel, the sweet, rosé, easy to drink, cold wine. Obviously, when talking about Zinfandel, I talk about the dry version, the red wine version, the concentrated, big, heavy wines about this Zinfandel. So, and this is I love them. I love them.
My best friend is Clay Moritzen, and I make wine with Clay up in Dry Creek.
Ooh.
We have a vineyard that we planted together in Rockpile, and so I make a Rockpile Zinfandel.
Oh, fabulous! I need to try.
Yeah, well, when I come to Baja, I'll be bringing you some. So
perfect.
Time to get together. But let's taste this Ensamble with everybody. This is the Ensamble, and are we talking about Valle de Guadalupe here?
Mm-hmm. Yes. So let me talk about Paralelo. The winery is called Paralelo, and it's a project also owned by Hugo da Costa. So he started Casa de Piedra in 97. His sister-in-law, and well, this was a small project, Casa de Piedra. So he wanted to do another project parallel to Casa de Piedra. So he founded 8 years later, in 2005, Paralelo, which is a project parallel to Casa Piedra, where he invited investors. Paralelo is like 5 to 6 times bigger than Casa de Piedra, and together with the winery, they bought around 250 acres of vineyards. So Paralelo produces 10,000 cases of wine, although there are just 3 labels. There is one white wine, which is called Emblema, because it's one of the emblematic white wines. It's 100% Chenin Blanc, but just 200, 250 cases. The other almost 10,000 cases are 2 red wines. Both wines, they are called Ensamble here, but well, these are not here in this case. These are not musicians trying to create harmony together. These are 4 varieties trying to create harmony together. It's a blend of 4 varieties. It's 60% Cabernet Sauvignon, it's 30% Merlot, and it's 10% between Barbera and Petit Syrah.
The nose is so cool, Thomas. I love the nose. I could just smell this wine. I don't even need to drink it. It smells so good.
So basically, it's a cab. Basically, it's a Bordeaux blend, cab Merlot. Yeah. But we added like something. We didn't just want to do a copy paste of a Bordeaux recipe. Sure. You need to invent something else, to add something else. So we created something new. Both varieties are really interesting. Barbera is a lot of red fruit and a lot of acidity. Down here in Baja, acidity is very important. A lot of wines, they suffer from a lack of acidity. So while adding Barbera, you add freshness, you add crispy acidity on the palate. And Petit Syrah on its side is it's completely different in the nose, a lot of spiciness, white pepper, etc. And color-wise, it adds a lot of color. Petit Syrah is very dark purple, almost black. You can't even see through the glass if there's a 100% pure Petit Syrah. So it helps us to improve color.
Well, it's juicy, it's fun, it's fragrant. It's got really cool balance and symmetry. I wondered, the Ensamble name, it just has this like connotation of working hard to blend something that comes together so well, and that's kind of where I find these wines. Now, well, we're not able to tell people yet, but maybe you will pique your interest, is that this Ensemble is kind of like part A and part B. There's a 1 and a 2.
Yes, right? Exactly. We produce 2 ensembles. Both are called Ensamble. Here, if you turn the bottle, here it says Colina.
Yeah.
Colina means hill in Spanish. There's a second one, which is called Arenal. Arena means sand in Spanish. So what's the difference? The winery was founded in 2005. The vineyards, however, they were planted in the beginning of the 70s. So when we bought the vineyards, we categorized the vineyards, first of all, by variety, second, by type of soil. So we realized that half of our vineyards, they are planted in the flat part of the valley, alluvial soils, sand. There's just sand. You dig like 2-3 yards, and you're still digging sand. There's no rocks, no clay, nothing, no gravel. It's just sand. The most part is sand. As soon as you go on the hillside, on the slopes, on the end of the valley and it begins to rise, the soil begins to turn from bright brown to reddish clay soils. They are clay dominated. So it's a completely different texture. And Hugo said, well, since the soil is said to have an impact on the wine style, why don't we just produce 2 wines exactly the same proportions, the same varieties, the same vintage, the only difference being the origin, if coming from sandy soil or from clay soil. And this is what we are doing year by year, producing both types of wines, almost, it's almost, half Arenal and half Colina. And now you are having the clay soil, the clay version. Obviously, we recommend, if you have a long night ahead of you and you have time and you have food and you have a good company, then we always recommend to open 1 bottle of each and just let it flow, let eat and drink and share opinions, try which wine goes better with one type of food, which one with other type of food. Obviously, the soil type has an impact of the wines. Of talking about the plants, the water is different, is regulated differently in sand than in clay. Also, the nutrients, the aeration, the temperature of the soil. If it gets heated up by the sun, etc., is all different. And at the end, the easiest thing to explain the difference is to open a bottle of wine and to try the difference. No, to resume the difference. Let's say the Arenal, in general, the Arenal has a little bit a shorter attack, has a little. The acidity is a little bit more crispy. The tannins are a little more present. So you've got the attack, the freshness, and the tannins, the drying part at the end. No, whereas a good intensity of fruit. Less complex, more intense. If you're coming to the Colina, then you have a softer attack, a softer and longer attack. The acidity is a little bit less pronounced, and the tannins, they are a little more subtle, a little more rounder. People say, in general, this wine is softer, is rounder, is longer. Also in the nose, it's a little less intense. It's a little bit more complex, no?
I thought that the Arenal has a little more lifted expression, and this has a little more bass. That's how I thought it was being a little different. I told Thomas's people that we would be 10-15 minutes, so we're going way over. So thank you very much, Thomas.
Thank you. Thank you.
We'll see you in Bordeaux or in Baja next year. We'll make sure. There's a couple pictures here. Is this the winery?
That's the winery. Yes. This is just a room, a space where we use for tastings, etc. It's not actually the winery.
Okay.
Well, we might have other pictures.
Very cool.
Probably.
I actually may or may not. I don't think so. That was the winery, the picture that my designer captured. But I thought that was very cool. It's very, it is a significant space, and that's what I love about Baja is you guys really go for it with the design and the elements, and you keep it so also kind of fitting in the setting. It's just really, really great. The wine
I might share the screen, my screen. I've got a picture of.
Me make you the co-host. There you go.
Can you see it?
Not yet. You know what I have to do is I have to stop sharing mine. So try it one more time. Hit share one more time. There it is.
Can you see it?
Yes.
So this is the winery. This is the tank where we are fermenting. This is our barrel room. We have 400 barrels. It looks very nice. It isn't if you have to get them up on the 4th level by hand.
Yeah.
It's all done by hand. We don't have a
wait.
forklift.
Wow.
Yes. And well, here we are crushing the grapes on top of the winery, taking advantage of gravity. Harvesting by night. This is the same room. The pyramid from the inside. This is where we are holding the tastings.
Oh.
The view from the tasting room. Again, the winery from the front. And this is the last part of the Guadalupe Valley. Here with Paralelo. Here you see LA Jetto, the biggest winery from Mexico.
Where Hugo started.
No, he started in Santo Tomas.
Santo Tomas. Oh, I'm sorry.
And here you see no, here you see this is Paralelo in the middle of the valley. So here are all those flat part, all those how do you call it, the sandy part. And here on the slopes, you can even see it on the satellite picture the reddish flavor, reddish color here on this side and on this side. This is where as soon as it gets elevated, the clay soil begins.
Interesting.
This just a little input about Paralelo, the winery.
Love it. Well, thank you for your time tonight. It was just
It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure.
great to have your passion. How long have you been in the wine business?
I graduated in 2001, so it's 22, 23 years.
Well, your passion's still like sharp and intense, and it's great. And we really enjoyed tasting with you and learning about your project. And we'll talk again, and I can't wait to meet you in person.
Perfect. Thank you, Ian. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
And also, hi, Stacy.
Hi there.
I remember you.
I'm so glad you do. I wasn't sure, Tommy, so I'm just happy to see you.
Yes. As soon as I heard your name, I thought there are no many Stacy Hans.
Yeah, there's only one. And I'm so happy to meet Carla because I had not met her. So
yes.
happy to meet her.
She had to go. She had to get to pick up our son from the gymnastics class. So she says goodbye.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, I'll see you soon. Okay.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you. Thank you for the remembrance.
Thank you, Stacy.
Amazing. See, the wine world makes everything small. You know, distance keeps us apart, but wine brings us together. And this is just another great example. So thank you very much. We're all in different parts of Los Angeles. Amy, where's home for you?
Alhambra, so representing the SGV.
All right, cool. Lisa and Susan are on the west side, and Stephanie's on the southern west side. Wendy, where's home? I'm not sure. Connie. Setsuko's in Japan, and we didn't get to hook up in Japan. because we were just in Japan, and we were only in Tokyo for 2 days, and like a moving target. So literally, I think I walked right by the restaurant that she works in Japan and didn't know it. But yeah, it's so fun to be able to pull us all together and be able to taste these wines with the talent. Stacy, anything you want to add?
No, I mean, each of the guests, really covered their particular arena beautifully. And the one thing I'd like to mention about the architecture of Paralelo is, all of the shoes and things that are studded into the if you would talk just 1 second about that, what the meaning of all of those different pieces of things are that are pushed into the adobe of the building.
Thomas, you got an encore?
Yes, the architect, he likes recycling. So when he found there's even a Barbie.
There's a Barbie. Yes, there is a
There's a
Barbie in there.
Barbie.
That's right.
So when you find the Barbie, like in the wall, there's some voodoo, some weird thing. It just there are tennis, there are a staple machine.
Shoes.
He would just involve it in he says garbage is not just garbage. Garbage can have a decorative function.
Yeah.
Or even a functional meaning. Yeah. So especially the escuelita, this is like the essence of recycling, where empty wine bottles are used as a wall, empty old bed springs, barrel staves, filters from the olive press. Anything. It's really amazing. It's really amazing.
And when we do have our trip to Baja, we will go and see Venicava. And it is made from discarded boats turned upside down. So so the architecture, the wines, as you have heard, and particularly from Tommy tonight, and the food is just not describable, and the architecture is jaw-dropping in its beauty and in its rawness and in its creativity. So we're in for a treat. It's not just about wine, it's wine, cuisine, and art all in one place.
And let me just tell you, there might be people which are concerned about security and safety, etc. I am Swiss. Switzerland is one of the safest countries in the world. If I'd be worried, I wouldn't still be living here. I would have returned to Switzerland a long time ago, but I'm not. I'm not concerned. I enjoy living here. It's safe. It's fun and it's good. So you don't need to be worried.
I agree.
You're not the target. You're definitely not the target. Tourists are not the target. There you hear some funny, not funny or bloody stories, but they don't happen here. They don't happen in the Wine Valley. It's rather in Tijuana or in other more other Ciudad Juarez and other cities. But it's not the tourists. It's not the well-behaved people which are the targets. It's among them. So you just relax, you enjoy, and you'll have a great time.
Yes. And also, the last thing I would say is let's don't forget the people, the warmth and the embrace of all of the people. That's something that you will absolutely experience.
Stacy, special thank you to you and to you, Thomas, and your wife. Thank you all.